Open wide for some soccer!
We didn't do any changes on this. So, Tom, can you hear me? Does it work all right? Good stuff. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening and welcome. We are all here, myself, Tom, and Jack, who seems to be stalking the night. And we are here to entertain and educate, I guess is the best way of saying it. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you've got any questions, put them into the chat below. And we'll go from there. Jack, I'm not being rude. I'm just going to put you on mute because I can hear the A46 or whatever you're next to. And we'll go from there. Tom, how was everything? You got home okay? All good?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Good. Brilliant stuff. How do you feel after your first match on the road? Second match now, sorry. Yeah, second match, sorry.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed that we couldn't see the game out. I didn't think we were brilliant. I thought we played it long too much yesterday and suffered a bit of what we suffered from in the second half against Torquay, which was we just didn't get the ball on the deck and pass it in the first half. We only really had that period of pressure where we had a couple of corners and a free kick, which lasted all of, I'd say, 3 minutes. I thought Maidenhead sort of will have been pleased with their performance. They neutralised our main threats, and I thought McAtee just dropped a bit too deep too often yesterday. I really like him. I think the work rate that he puts in chasing down players, and like he won a free kick on the edge of the box just through chasing down yesterday. But I would have liked to have seen him sort of leave some of the jobs he was trying to do yesterday to the midfield and just be available to link play between the midfield and the front line. And I just thought he dropped deep too often. And then the goal again came from the left-hand side in the second half. We changed it from 4-4-2 to 4-4-3, took off Souza for Pearson, just over 10 minutes to go, and we lost a bit of width, I thought, didn't you? And that cost us a goal.
You're far too technical for me. I don't know. Jack, how is everything your end?
Hi, very well. Apologies for the darkness. I've gone down Cleethorpes Seafront for my evening run, and I saw we were short on numbers, so I thought I'd volunteer last minute. I am off to the Kingsway Hotel, which is currently providing me light.
It sounds like there's an alarm going off and you're running from the scene.
I can't believe you can hear that. See, that's why I've parked up here. I thought I was far away enough from the alarm for it to not cause an issue. Maybe I need to get further into the sea. Maybe that is how we how we get around.
I mean, if 4G is good, it's all right. I mean, we don't need postcodes and stuff, but where are you staying in Grimsby? Because is this like your first real time spending time in the town?
No, so I spent a lot of time up here as a kid. Like all the school holidays, my granddad still lives on Clee Road, so I still go up there a lot, and obviously come every other weekend when I can. I'm here for the football. So no, it's probably the longest stint I've had. I would have been here. I'm here for another 2 weeks. That'll be 6.5 weeks in total. So I'm 2/3 of the way through my Grimsby adventure. In terms of where we're staying, opposite Grimsby Minster, which is eventful.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Nice most of the time, but you get the occasional crackhead just kicking off at 4 a.m. for no reason and waking us all up, which ain't fun. But well, got to take it rough with the smooth, eh?
Absolutely. And is it all going okay?
Yeah, it's going great. So I'm on a bit of a campaign tonight to stay up as late as possible because we've got a week of night shoots, which are going to be hellish. So we got a call time of 6 p.m. tomorrow, going until 4:30 in the morning down the wine pipe on Fremo. So that'll be fun. And then just a whole like five days of night shoots. So trying to adjust my body, going for runs and all sorts. I've been. Some of my mates are in the police, and they always go from night shifts to day shifts quite erratically. So I've asked them, and they were like, exercise will give you a buzz where you stay awake really late rather than knacker you, which I don't know if I believe or not. So I'm just trying everything. I stayed up till about 2 a.m. last night, woke up at 1 p.m. today, so I'm halfway adjusted. But yeah,
I mean,
it's good. It's going very well, basically.
You must be on a hell of a run then. If you're outside the Kingsway Hotel and you're staying in like next to the church, you've got a long old way back.
Pier. I drove
Oh,
from
fine.
the pier. I've just gone to the leisure centre I'm from the pier, basically. I was going to go down to Cleethorpes Sea Wall, but then there was some scary-looking youths, so I decided to come back and just do a couple of runs from the pier to the leisure centre.
I mean, I think most of our listeners would class you as a scary-looking youth, wouldn't they? I mean, you can't be scared of them. If who's going to protect those people going on away matches if you're the one that's running away from them? You're at least 5 foot taller than any youth on Cleethorpes Seafront. The spice keeps them quite short, doesn't it?
I am very tall. Yeah. I've got to keep my PR head on here.
Yeah, good man.
I am very tall, though. I'm very tall. I keep getting strange looks, like, because we have to go out to eat at night. And it's more, Grimsby, more than anywhere in London, you do get people coming up to you as if you're on fire. Oh my God, you're tall. Like as if it's a medical emergency. And then they're wanting some sort of praise in return for notifying you of your extreme height. It's weird. It's a very Grimsby thing. I had it. I went to the OJ fight last night. Watched it, and there was at least 3 people. I mean, I know I sat down for Christ's sake. Fucking hell, I told you. I had one chap. So obviously this gets asked quite a lot. I nearly got in a ruckus, in a very minor ruckus, and then it all calmed down because.
I mean, the Telegraph would have loved that.
Yeah. This is the follow-on, like, how tall are you? 6'9". How big's your knob? And then
6'9".
Ask your missus, and he didn't take it in the funny way that they usually do. And was a little bit inspired by the Usyk battering. But then one headbutt, mate, knocked out. No, not really.
I mean, if you try to headbutt someone, surely you just get air, don't you?
Yeah, I'm always afraid in aggressive situations of my nuts getting hurt because for like someone normal height, it's an easy swing. It's a long way for me to go down to like kind of save them. So yeah, I'm blabbering now, but it's going great.
That's all right. Good. I'm glad. I mean, it's going to be great to see it all come out, and I guess, I mean, 6.5 weeks. That's really quick. I mean, I don't know anything about filming, but Yeah,
it is. It's enough. Like my first film was 3 weeks, so this feels like I got all the time in the world. But it's there's 160 scenes in 6 weeks. So like the actual shoot is 4.5 weeks. We did a week and now 2 weeks rehearsals. So yeah, it feels like I've got more time than I have ever had, but not all the time in the world because the actors are rehearsed. A lot of the decisions that I make as director are actor based, and all the. So I'm a very homework-driven director. I do a lot, all my storyboards and whatnot, and conversations with all the heads of departments are done well in advance. So the alarm's gone. There's really nothing, minus a little bit of intuition to work out on the day. So we're relatively quick. Get most things in 3 or 4 takes. Bish bash bosh. So yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings 6 years, but this is all right. 4.5 weeks of shooting, 6 weeks everywhere.
I don't know what Jay means, but he says it sounds like Jay's advice to Simon before he gets laid. I can't remember that. I assume it's in between us late, but I can't even remember that. But thanks, James.
Something his advice to masturbate before, and then he couldn't get hard on.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what he's referencing in terms of our chat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe we've got our wires crossed and he sent the wrong message.
Maybe
I assume you were.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, the police advice for exercise. So I guess you didn't get to make it to the football, Tom. I mean, this is the first podcast for a while where the majority of people on it have seen the match, which is quite nice. Overall, as you said, you're a little bit disappointed. What were your sort of? It's the first time I've seen the squad in action. Were there people that pleasantly surprised you, or some that you were expecting a bit more from? You talked about John McAtee sort of dropping a little bit deeper, but overall, did you think it was a steady performance? I was slightly disappointed, like yourself. I don't think we ever really kicked on apart from that last sort of 15 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, I think he's sort of outlined what his favourite 11 in, because I think that's the third or fourth time out the last 4 or 5 games that he's played that starting 11. So I think we know what his preferred 11 is, and I like that 11, I have to say. But yesterday we just didn't get a foot on the ball and get it down and play passing football, basically. And the spell of pressure that we had in the first half was actually centred around set pieces as opposed to good incisive play. Having said that, the goal we scored was a great bit of counter-attacking football. Really good energy from Clifton again. I thought he put in a good performance. I really like what he brings to the side in terms of work rate. And he's getting forward more now, I think, as well. He seems to be really pushing on to get in the box and stuff, or at least get on to stuff to get crosses in. But yeah, I think we just lost a bit of width with the formation change towards the end, and that gave them a bit of room to get down the right hand side and get that cross in for the goal.
They seem to they relish the opportunity, I guess, to play us. I'm trying my best to find non-patronising ways of talking about them, because they collapsed on the floor the second that final minute went, for that final whistle went, just because they had put in an absolute shift.
Yeah, they played well.
They did. Yeah, they didn't allow us any time to settle. They continued to keep the ball. It just felt like we just couldn't get the ball out from under our feet. And we were maybe at times playing a bit too intricately, given the state of the pitch was quite dry and quite bobbly. There was a lot of sort of quick 1-2s, which is always great for a team that is obviously putting a lot behind you. But I don't think we'd put implied ourselves or put ourselves as commanding in front of them as we could have done. I think, I mean, given the late goal, it still felt like, I don't think if we'd have come away with a win, I thought, oh, we got away with that one, because I don't think we really had anything from it other than it was a really great goal, and Sousa took it. He took it well. To hit it on the volley and keep it down was great. I don't know. It's just, it felt a bit flat, and I even the. Cue criticism maybe, but I thought the fans were a bit flat, maybe because people like me have had 18 months off and we haven't we haven't been there for a while, but it felt there was a lot in number, but it didn't feel very active. It was only when there was sort of that bit of shithousery going on towards the end of the first half did the fans sort of come out and find their voice, and so did the team. I don't know, I was just it just felt a bit muted all the way through.
Well,
I
think that's like what I said last week when Bruce was on about the atmosphere being flat. I think sometimes against the smaller teams, it is difficult to get an atmosphere going, because like the Wrexham game, for example, that was like a proper game, wasn't it? Almost not to
say it was Stockport, yeah.
Not that the Maidenhead isn't a proper game, but it's two clubs.
You've got someone to bounce off.
Fan base, yeah. And whereas the Maidenhead fans yesterday, they obviously all changed ends, didn't they? Both halves. So in the first half, they were right at the other end of the ground, away from us, weren't they? The majority of them. And then in the second half, they came down. And in the second half, there was a little bit more to and fro. Their fans did, like I thought, created a bit of atmosphere for themselves. But I don't think you can't have atmosphere all the time, or electric atmosphere all the time. Sometimes the atmosphere is the lull and the opportunity to have like a chat about the football, like we did in the first half with Exile Mariner Adam and your mate and Matt Woods.
Chris.
Yeah, we had quite a nice discussion about football in general, and and what it means to be a football fan at this level. And sometimes you go to games like that, and I think that's also quite an enjoyable alternative to singing your heart out for 90 minutes in the big games.
I do love singing my heart out, though. It just felt like the players. Maybe it was just coincidental, but the bit of the time when the fans got behind it and were making a bit of noise, was the moment when that we had a little bit of a play towards the end of the first half. But I guess Paul Hursty said that he was a bit disappointed with the performance, but we got a point. I mean, there's not much else you can say about that, can you? Really? I mean, it's a useful point. Still unbeaten. Best record since '82. Which, I mean, can't sniff at that, and only a couple of points behind everybody else with a game in hand.
It's third. If we win on Tuesday, we could go top. So there's not a lot to moan about. We're sort of nitpicking because we're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Maidenhead's ground was it had character. Their 5G mast goes back to the Victorian times, I assume, and their 1970s prefab bus shelter. Which I mean, if any Maidenhead fans are listening, please by all means tell me what the hell that was about. Because I have no idea why you've got what looks like a grain silo in the corner of your ground. Yeah, it's good. I mean, Jack, did you listen into it at all, or hear any of it on the radio? Did you get down to Blundell Park today and get any, discounted bits? He's got to find his car.
I did listen on the radio. I'm banned from going to all football events until the. Have you got me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You said you're banned from football until when? Oh, he's gone. I mean, it's Cleethorpes is like, it's like a war correspondent out on the town. There he goes, and then he's gone. Yeah, we'll work the podcast in between. Oh no, that's him. Oh yeah, what's he said? He's come up. We'll drive to Signal. Fine. I don't know what our best 10 games are. I know 82. It was pretty impressive, and I think it was only a couple of games afterwards. I think we lost to Chelsea in the following game. So I mean, it's going to be a while. I mean, we can have a look. I'm sure Tom can dig through it, and go through sort of what our best.
But I can't be asked. So if you do know our best 10 games, tweet at DN35.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat thing. It seems to work. I mean, I'm happy with how the squad goes. They looked like they were really going well. My only gripe yesterday was that we could have probably seen Lenny a little bit earlier. I think he gave us a bit of a direct option up top, but I can understand the thought process in her. Yeah, I can understand her thought process going, oh, we've just conceded. I don't want to take someone experienced like, Giles Kokoff, who he replaced, off and lose that experience in the middle of the park. But I thought he had a bit of an effect, a couple of decent touches as well, which opened up the game. Mike McMahon, yep, don't worry. Could do with 5G. Well, that was the reason we put them all up and then Danny took them down, I think. I think that was what the problem was. He says that it could do with 5G mass moving to Cleethorpes, but don't tell Rose. That's probably why he couldn't play yesterday, if I'm being entirely honest. Speaking of players, Luke Spokes has gone to Boston on loan for a couple of months? Yeah, not a bad idea. We'll get some game time. It'll be nice to see him. I think that, I'll be honest, I think that level is what suits him.
They won yesterday.
Yeah, that's good to see. They're pushing on. You never know. Could have another derby next year. Not unless we go up, obviously. I mean, so coming from the game, I didn't think Macca had much to do. He made a couple of decent saves. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper time wasting after 25 minutes in a game where they're 0-0. Now, either he's a bit lackadaisical and, a bit relaxed, but he was taking a hell of a long time throughout the entire match, getting balls and retrieving it. And the ref didn't seem to mind too much. I thought the ref was
Yeah.
all right. He did miss a very blatant back pass.
He did. I think we saw a lot of that the last time we were in the conference. Teams playing that way against us, time wasting from early on, which is obviously a shame because it's not really a great way to play football, is it? But the game management thing is a big part of it. Luke Spokes came on for 25 minutes yesterday for Boston in their 2-1 win over Guiseley, by the way. But yeah, the referee definitely missed a blatant back pass, which would have given them a free kick about 3 yards out.
I mean, that was an absolute howler. That was absolutely beautiful. I don't know how it was missed, but it was, pretty amazing. Joe, I think Lee's. Yeah, sorry.
The answer to
Go
that
ahead.
question is we go into the 4th round qualifying, which is in October.
We are one game away from playing Cleethorpes Town, which we didn't mention in the last podcast. Congratulations to them on beating Matt Reed's Alfreton, as they are officially called. They are one game away from playing us. Who did they get in the next round? I've forgotten. Does anybody know out there?
Curzon Ashton.
By all means. Curtin and Ashton. Oh, that's a pretty
Curzon
decent.
Ashton.
Yeah, I thought I said Curzon. Is it not Curzon?
It is
I'm thinking
Curzon.
Curzon. I was going to say
it's
that's the Indian up the road from me as well. Jack, what are your thoughts? Are you saying why have you been banned from football, and when can you go back? Have you seen any football at the moment? And are you at Taco Bell?
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I wasn't as fast on my run as I anticipated, so I was caught short-handed. Production have banned me from going to any sort of mass gathering, unfortunately, despite my best efforts to sneak off. I've been given another two-week internal ban from such festivities. I did listen on the radio, though. I thought we would go on to win it when we were 1-0 up, as one would. And was sad that we lost it because I lost some money on the old Sky bet. I wouldn't blame Hurst, though, for bringing on a defender. It's logic. You go 1 up with 15 minutes to go, bring on a defender. Makes sense. He would have got a lot more shit had he brought on a striker and we conceded, because that's counter logic. But what are you going to do, eh? Best start since 15 years before I was even a thing. I ain't going to moan at that. And I got free food at Blundell Park the last time I was allowed to go.
Okay, so when was that? Because there has been obviously international recognition from the Chesney Burgers now.
Yes. Well, it was. I don't want to dob myself in here. When was it? Many games ago. It was the last one I snuck to.
Okay. Was it the charity game? Was it? Is that what it was?
No, it was the Eastleigh. It was the first one of the season.
Okay,
Weymouth, that was it. And in the fan zone, which I very much like, they were giving away free food if you made a donation to the Mariners Trust. I thought, wow, how this club has changed. And it was gorgeous. It was a Scotch egg with coleslaw and some other side condiment that I can't quite recall. But yeah, top marks. They're just happy. We are, as a fan base, in a danger of getting used to winning, which I think has reared its ugly head today. And, we play shit realistically for 3 halves of the last 2 games, still get 4 points, and we're moaning. We're doing good, aren't we? Win on Tuesday, top of the league. Lovely.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I can't remember the last time we were top of the league. It must have been back in 2015, I guess.
When we beat Wrexham, won it at Christmas time. Was that 2015?
Was it?
Was that when Rosanna scored on telly?
Aswood Thomas crossed from the left through and
That's
through
what. It was.
What's
Aswood
up to these days?
He is playing for someone.
He was at Sun United for a little bit, I seem to remember, a few years ago.
Yeah, he's still in non-league.
Yeah. He was playing for Dover last time I know, but that was ages ago.
No,
I think.
he's moved on since then.
He is playing for Ebbsfleet. There we go. I mean, this is what our audience are there for. You should be able to Google quicker than I am, and throw whatever questions you've got in, because we didn't get many this afternoon. All right. Ben said the last thing he remembers.
Go on.
No, I was just putting what Ben said. He said the last thing I remember of Aswad is his own goal against Huddersfield. Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah.
I like
Sean
Aswad.
Scannell was playing for Huddersfield, wasn't he? He came on and changed the game a bit. For the only career game he's ever played where he's not been injured.
Sean Scannell, yeah. I mean, is he ever going to come back? Apparently, he's got a little bit of a twinge.
I can't even be asked to talk about him until he actually does make an appearance, because it's just a fucking waste of time. It's bollocks.
That is your most seething comment I think I've ever heard you mention on this. What is the anger towards Sean Scannell? I mean, he's still here. He's not tweeting about 5G.
Are you playing or what? Fucking hell. Gets on my tits, everyone. Where's Sean Scannell? Where is Sean Scannell? Yeah. Tosser. Anyway, on more positive news, the GCFC women playing at home today at Brigg Town's ground beat Sleaford 2-0. Ellie Wilson on 36 minutes and Amber Sharp on 63 minutes, continuing their 100% start to the season. So well done, ladies.
I mean, that was a one show style, like, change in link. That was, wasn't it? Fuck Sean Scannell. Congratulations to the Grimsby Town women's team for winning.
I've got another one as well. I stopped at the local Tesco on the way to my run, hence my lateness. Did you know you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes 3 times a day? 3 times a day.
What, after lunch?
Yeah, I do it for 3 minutes 2 times a day. I've been doing it wrong for years.
Can you not remember
good numbers all the same?
As you're getting your batting average in. Well, there was that bloke at the Chelsea game, wasn't there, years ago, that was sore with a toothbrush in his mouth behind the dugout. Maybe he was just ahead of the time.
Are you thinking of John Tigana? He was at Fulham and he used to have a toothpick.
No, not him. There was a Chelsea fan. I'm sure someone will be able to. If you find the image, by all means, send us a link and we'll put it up. But there was a bloke behind the Chelsea goal. He was just obviously an orthodontist or something. But I mean, have you been hired by the British Association of Dentists or anything?
I've just gone on a little shopping spree. Got myself some heads and shoulders. That seems to be. You seem to use that how you imagine. But Colgate throwing a spanner in the works.
Well, they're just trying to shift some more toothpaste. They're going to say there's no panic. There's no reason to panic buy toothpaste in a bit. So James said, after relegation, 50 new signings, COVID playing favourites, Wrexham and Stockport, not to mention playing Torquay, who are in the plus. Do you know what? I put that in and didn't even read on. I apologise. 17 points from 7 is great. I can't disagree. I think we're doing really well. Ben said, I think the mass majority of some fans don't like Scannell because he was a runaway signing. It's also, he hasn't played. Here he is. Oh, someone sent it to me. You absolute legend. Thank you very much, Lee.
Also, just one thing to add on yesterday. Results actually went for us for a change. Normally, results don't go for us, but most of the sort of other big teams in the division didn't get a great result yesterday, which was quite satisfying because normally when we mess up, all the other teams win, and then when we win, everybody else wins as well. Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, there's a Lee. There he is. A bloke with a toothbrush in the background. Let's go back. Let's see if we can see that on a slow-mo. There he is. Brushing his teeth in between the second half. That's how you do it.
He read the instructions on a toothpaste, didn't he?
He's the marketing manager for Colgate, he is. It was the first of their guerrilla marketing campaign. They are, hang on, just before I bake like 3,000 pieces of GDPR. There we go. There we are. They're filming. What are they filming up near us? The remake of Game of Thrones or whatever they're doing. That's up on my dog walk this morning. They've got some big gold tents.
Competition to me, mate.
I'm sorry, man.
Go set fire to some shit or something.
I will do. Yeah, don't worry. No problem whatsoever. Great. If that happens now, I'm fucked. I mean, all in all, it's gone pretty well. We've got Bromley coming up. I don't know much about Bromley. I assume JJ Hooper is still there.
I haven't actually done any research on their squad, but they are 10th and have won 3 out of the last 5, including beating Dover and Barnet in the last 2 games. So they've basically played the basket case clubs in the division the last couple of games and won. And their top scorer is experienced non-league striker Michael Cheek, who's got 6 goals already this season, which is a good return.
Michael Cheek is going to score bloody 2 against us.
And interestingly, their next 3 games are all at home, which is very rare to see a team have 3 home league games on the trot.
I assume we balls up.
Yeah, the game being rearranged. And then on Saturday, we've got Dover, who haven't won any games yet, and have got 2 players on 2 goals. And they have drawn 3 of the last 5 and lost the other 2. And they've also played Bromley recently and Solihull.
So Bromley have got Liam Trotter, who used to play for us, obviously. I can't see any others that are going to bite us on the arse. George Alexander, why does that? No, it's not him. James Allaby, his name sounds familiar. Yeah, that's because he played for us.
He did.
Yeah, James Allaby, he plays for them. So we got a little bit of worry there. JJ Hooper plays for Wrexham. I did not know that. And then who scored for Thingy yesterday? Was it Summit Ferdinand? Was he related at all to the Ferdinand brand?
Yes. James House, Cheek is from Nuneaton, by the way, so he definitely has gone north of Essex.
I think that Ferdinand was. I haven't listened to on the radio. He's the cousin of Anton Thingy and the other one.
God, they get absolutely everywhere. There are loads of them. It's like the Roses. Mitch Rose as well. Where did he sign for this? What did we see? Yeovil. He will be scoring a penalty against us sometime very soon. Thank you very much for sending that through, Lee. Do you know what? Maidenhead don't apparently even have a like a Wikipedia page. I don't know what that's. Do they? Well, I can't find it. I found it. I was looking at Maidenhead Town. That's why. This is this on the fly part of it going. All in all, though, I got the bug back going back to the games. You forget how much you look forward to an away game. And Tom, thank you very much so far for not mentioning the fact that I came out and as teams came out, I wondered why we'd changed our sponsor until you reminded me that we were playing in blue and I'm a fucking melon.
Don't worry, I was going to put that in my program
I think
notes.
their home strip's quite nice. I think we need a white number with thin black stripes.
I liked it. It's very like 1993 Seba Geige sort of thing that you see coming about. Oh, hang on. There's a Will de Havilland. Is he at all any relation to the people who make the aircraft? I can't find it. There is nothing there. And then Kane Ferdinand was it. God, they've got a lot of potential here. Kane Ferdinand. Personal life. He is the cousin of fellow professional footballer Anton Ferdinand and former footballers Rio and Les. So no wonder he scored against us. That is cheating. They also had a Nathan Blissett, who is Luther Blissett's nephew. There we go. So they go even worse than we do with football siblings and football family. There we go.
Nathan Blissett that scored against us at Wembley for Bristol Rovers? Am I completely making it up?
Well, he did play for Bristol Rovers in 2014, 2016, so he may well have done.
Didn't he score the equalising goal? Or am I chatting waffle?
Oh, you're probably right, actually. Hang on, I'm just trying to find it. After Blissett was blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say anything. He turned in October and made his Football League debut, so no, I can't see anything. I thought that had been mentioned. All in all, though, do you think Paul's happy with how it is? Do you think he's still looking for a new striker? Do you think that's been put to bed? He doesn't seem too bothered about it anymore. Lee is saying, yes, he did, Jack. He is standing up for you. He did score against us. I have no idea.
Good memory, that.
That is brilliant. Well done. Yeah, I mean, do you think he's relatively happy with how things have gone? And do you think he's still looking to add? I mean, there were worries. I think we're all right.
I think he said he wants something different, didn't he? I can imagine the system might work with a smaller, pacier forward, albeit quite different with McAtee actually feeding them in rather than playing the backs to goal that Taylor and Lenny would do. I'd imagine it's still on his radar, but he said a million times before, there's no point bringing someone in who's not going to add anything, and assumingly still in the same case. But I think yesterday Sousa was the 10th different goal scorer around the team. So we're doing all right without a Podge type poacher, if you like. But yeah, I think it'd probably be top of the list come whenever there is one.
Oh, Eric Sousa is the quickest player I've seen at Blundell Park since Gary Cohen. There was that one move in the second half where he took it away from his man, and he was like grease lightning. I've never seen anything. Oh, well, I have seen something like it. It was Gary Cohen, but you said you've got what did your Darlington fans say, mate, say to you, Tom?
Enrico Sousa will infuriate and delight in equal measure over the course of the season. But I think he's been really good for us so far.
I agree. Hang on. So Lee's apparently sent me a link of John McAtee. Where am I looking, Lee? It's a 42-second
top quality content here.
Yeah. Oh well, we're seeing John McAtee,
whose brother played for Man City on Tuesday night against Wickham.
Oh, here we go. This is Mike wanted to know. Really impressed with Clifton. Is there anywhere he can't play? I've been really impressed. I'll be honest. My opinion would have been we're going to get nowhere near the top of the league if he's the sort of person we're having in midfield. But his energy levels alone are so important. Tom, you thought I said something controversial then?
Oh, that was harsh.
That's all right. I can be harsh. I'm not offended. I think his energy levels are there, but I think if my original thought was, I just think his energy levels are something that no other player has, but technically I think there are better out there, but I've obviously been made to be proven wrong so far. Which is fine. I don't mind that, though my ego has taken a bit of a bruising. Hang on. Right, let's do this again without sharing any personal details of anybody. Right, I don't know why we're doing lots of teeth brushing thing, but there we go. John McAtee brushing his teeth. There you are. I mean, it was done elegantly, I guess. Good action. Is this what we've come to now?
Well, if it is, I'm off to the pub.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Joe said if Pearson isn't the team and McEwen gets sent off, you just know Clifton will go in goal. Do we even have a goalkeeper at the moment? I don't think we do we? Oh, Clifton can't play golf. That's very true, Lee. Yeah. Thank you very much for sending that link in as well. But yeah, I thought in all we've done all right, and
we've had a great start. We're still not to be top now.
Can you tell we're struggling for content? I mean, we're desperately not looking at the fishy and talking about that, and we won't talk about that. But I mean, there's content there. If we start talking about it, we've lost it. But all in all, we
didn't have positive. A keeper on the bench yesterday.
We did not have a keeper on the bench yesterday. No. That's all right. I'm just talking rubbish. I can get rid of that now, and then.
Do you want to, if you need content, do you want to listen to my new toy in the car?
What is it? Oh, don't tell me it's something offensive.
I've installed some police sirens.
Have you?
Can you hear that? I've got it's a little microphone as well, so I can shout at people. Right.
Is that in your car? Does it have blues and twos as well? Yeah, is this just to try and get you fuel?
Nah, it's just when someone's being a dickhead. Let me show you. Have you seen the sign I got in the back of the car as well?
No.
Right, you wait. Well, let me Let me show you this piece of beauty.
you-
One sec.
I mean,
Coming out.
do you still have the number plates as well?
One sec. Look at this. Can you see?
James says, "Yeah, well, I saw you then, and then you disappeared." So James just said DN35 is about to get interesting as Jack gets arrested. So you got you okay? I'm not going in the cut. Bell end, brilliant.
Just when someone's being a dickhead behind me, I find it very hard to swear at people behind me.
All right, okay. That was slightly worrying. I don't think you should have that power, especially with. I mean, you could put police stop, and then do the police sirens at people that are pissing you off.
And then follow up with Bellend. That would be quite funny. Police stop, they stop, and then just pull over and then pull out and go Bellend.
I used to have a Peugeot
I can't believe I've got into this.
The truck on.
It's supposed to be a serious football party.
What were you saying?
I had a Peugeot 107 as my first car, and I installed a truck horn in it. So I was like, I used to go around just as a kid, just scaring the shit out of people because it's so loud. They'd look around, where's this truck? I tried to rig a marine horn. My mate's a mechanic, so he can do all this silly shit for us. And that was 5 nautical miles you could hear that fucker for. But there wasn't room under the bonnet.
I mean, I would quite like that as a permanent thing. I mean, if he's happy to rig it to the Skoda, I mean, it'll make away days entertaining.
For the police siren, I only wanted the megaphone. I used to have like a megaphone. Now I have to use the, like a thing. I used to have a megaphone, and I lost it on set. And so my mate did like an inbuilt one, and it just the thing we bought on Amazon came with the police sirens. What are you gonna do? Eh?
I know. Well, I guess the questions are, because we've got quite into the season now. Are you expected you to be? I know Tom's always the sort of the virtue of positivity, so maybe he thinks we're almost underwhelming. Maybe, I don't know. But are you expecting us to have been here? I thought it'd have taken a hell of a lot longer for us to change our mindset from being rock bottom of the league to being a team that is expected to go out and win every game. Who's impressed you most? Are you surprised with where we are? Do you think it will continue? What do you think, Jack? I'll go with you because we haven't had your thoughts on sort of how the season's gone really in general so far.
Mate, it's gone superbly. It's the best start since '82, and we're even asking the question. You get people today on the Fishy and Twitter moaning that Hurst won a defender. It's like, fucking hell, we couldn't win a game last season. We've won like 20 on a spin. It's great. I think McAtee is clearly the one, I think, making us tick in the first half against one of the teams. I can't remember which one I was. Eastleigh, I think. They all merge into one, these shitty seaside non-league teams like us. All the southern ones. Eastleigh, first half, McAtee wasn't playing, and there was a big void between midfield and the single striker. And I think he's really, when he came on, you could see the difference. The kind of flow of football was far much better. I think defensively we look pretty solid. I think the big thing, like the comeback against Barnet, we went one down against Wrexham. There's not that, if we went one down last season, it's game over. You just know it is. Whereas here, it's like, we'll come back and win. We always do when we go one down. And I think that is big. I think there'll be a bit of a test now about how we bounce back from what wasn't a defeat, but is the first time this season it probably feels like a defeat, having gone ahead and not won. And I think whoever we have on Saturday, who are we playing on Saturday? Dover.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said that with confidence because I don't know.
There we are, yeah.
Yeah, we're playing Dover, another shitty
Dover. Well, we
coastal
should give
southern
them a bit
team.
of a twatting, so that should That should be nice for confidence.
I'm just trying to. I am trying to work out.
Just to add to the list of non-league shitty coastal teams. So yeah, we should. I think we'll get 3 points on Saturday, and then bish bash bosh. I think Bromley. Obviously, we've got Bromley in between.
We've of the last 20. I'm trying to work it out. Our 22 games. We've lost 4 games in 22 matches, and that sort of goes back to the 9th of March when obviously we conceded in the last seconds to Carlisle. So I mean, it's pretty astounding. And you got to think towards the end of the season, we were sort of guns for going for it at times, like games at Cambridge and Exeter alike. So James came back and said, I expected mid-table after a slow start. Feels weird for us to be surpassing my expectations in a positive way for a change. I cannot disagree at all. Tom, how have you thought it's gone? Is this where you expected us to be? Who's been your shining lights, and are there any weaknesses that you see we have that you could think we could reasonably improve on?
I think our major weakness is the left-hand side. We've conceded a lot of goals. Of the goals we've conceded down the left, we conceded down the left yesterday. We conceded 2 down the left against Barnet, and then there was another game where goals came down from the left from the opposition as well. I don't know whether that's because Clifton seems to have like a sort of freer role compared to Sousa. Sousa's sort of job seems to be to stick out on the wing and attack their left-hand side, whereas Clifton seems to roam a bit more. So that leaves Crooks exposed, which brings me on to Crooks being my favourite player of the season so far. I think McAtee's been brilliant, obviously, but I think Crooks has gone under the radar and has shown himself to be a solid signing and looks really solid at left back. But I think the start has been brilliant, and to be third going into October is right where we want to be. We're not leading the pack from early doors, but we're there or thereabouts. And if we go top on Tuesday and maintain that against Dover going into October, I think that's a great place to be in. Everybody else has got to catch you, which does bring its own pressures, but it means everything's in your hands.
All of a sudden, I've got a load of questions coming into my head. Like, obviously, there was the Nouveau Riche derby yesterday, Wrexham v Stockport. Neither of the teams have got off to the blistering start that they would have hoped for. Are you, like me, expecting if things aren't going their way come Christmas, that one or at least one of them will be making changes? Phil Parkinson is already getting a lot of grief at that end of the world for their start. I don't know if you guys have got any thoughts on that. I mean, they're the two that I'm keeping my eye on, even though Dagenham and Redbridge, I have no idea what Dagenham and Redbridge are doing, but they are phenomenal at the moment. Absolutely phenomenal. Any thoughts on that?
I'd like to think that they would be given till just before Christmas, really, to really assess where they are, their respective managers. But that's me being an idealist in a crazy football world.
You get 6 games, isn't it, mate? 6 games. Isn't that what we're told? Let's have a look. So Rich Young said one thing yesterday that brought forward was that there was a small minority of supporters who are desperately proven right in their dislike for Hurst. One questionable sub and all were over him. I hope that's not true, but I mean, I'm not at the games enough to notice.
I think Rich is right. Yeah. I think, the good start has, if we hadn't have had a good start, people would have been on Hurst's back straight away. And yeah, I think it's just pretty sad, really, to be honest.
Oh, I hope that's not the case, and I hope it continues, because I don't think you'll find a harder working manager in football, and it's proven that we're doing well. As we were saying, 4 defeats in 23 games in our last 23 games. Stat. That's astounding. And you got to think those games, those defeats came towards the end of the season when we're really having it's like guts or nothing, and sort of the Exeter with the red card and the like. P-Day says something that I was shouting about far too much yesterday. Did anyone else notice how short the ref was yesterday? I thought it was Diddy Dave Gilbert for a second. I am absolutely and completely and utterly with you on this. I've come to a conclusion. This is my theory. You should not be allowed to referee a professional football match if you're not allowed on all the rides at Alton Towers. That man was very short, and there is a yeah.
Hang on. I'm not allowed on all the rides at Alton Towers.
Are you not? Are you worried that you're going to get your head decapitated or something?
I'm too tall, genuinely. I spent 40 quid going to Thorpe Park about a year ago, and I could only go on the fucking teacups all day. Bollocks. And they don't tell you on the bloody website, oh yeah, you can be too tall.
I mean, that is something that you need to, I mean, that is a public information film. I didn't know that. So how tall is too tall?
I don't know, I'm 6'9" and I'm too tall, but like, it's very tall, but there are certainly taller out there. And yeah, like Saw, the one that got Thorpe Park, the big spinny blade around your head. I mean, fair play, it will twat your head off. I can see why they say you can't go on it, but you think they design a ride for all in a world of inclusivity. But no roller coasters for me no more.
I mean, you didn't see him yesterday, Jack, but I would have loved a photo of you shaking his hand because it would have been brilliant. There is a pronounced slope on that pitch at Maidenhead, and I'm 100% sure if he was 20 yards behind the ball at some places, he wouldn't have been able to see it.
No.
Yeah,
you are the master of exaggeration.
I mean, he was at most 3 inches tall. I'm not one to exaggerate, and I've said that a million times. Lee said Crooks reminds him of Gregor Robertson, always a 7 out of 10, solid performer, gives it everything, and hopefully will turn in as just as much of an accomplished journalist as Gregor did. James has also then said as well, other than Buckley, Hurst is the only manager in my lifetime to deliver any sort of success. I've got to be absolutely correct in that. I think the only criticism you could get for him is that he picked a couple of basket case clubs. I don't know anyone in their right mind would go to Ipswich or Scunny, but there you go. So, their loss is our gain. I think I don't understand why people get. And I used to be quite critical of him. I thought we should have got rid of him after 5 seasons, but I was totally wrong. Richard Young has now started a campaign to get Jack justice. He is now boycotting Alton Towers and is already starting a placard campaign as well. And it's only right. It's only right. I mean, Jack,
let's do a GoFundMe while we're at it. Fuck it.
We need. Jack has been given £32,000
to build his own theme park for tall people.
Stephen McDade, who is in Italy, so no one can feel sorry for him for this comment where he said, I think we should mention the match day moment videos that come out after each game for us expats. It's such a good video that captures the atmosphere of a town game, says Steve in Italy, just to prove that he is in Italy. And I imagine he's drinking that while he's having some limoncello on some sort of beautiful veranda overlooking a market square. Jack is over a foot taller than me. I feel sorry for the poor lad having to duck under every door frame. It's all right.
It's the thing. Door frame 6'7". It's all right. It's like an autopilot now. But after half a pint of shandy, it stops working, and I've got multiple facial scars from twatting into a door frame at various pubs across Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire during my heyday.
Tom. Oh yeah, I'd love to have seen you actually. I'd love to see you in Samuel's, Jack. I think that'd be amazing. Tom, you've been into Samuel's, haven't you?
I certainly have.
Yeah, I would love to see you in Samuel's, Jack, if you've never been in it. I'll tell
you where I've just been. Just driven past Fenty's the thing on Grimsby Road, the massive fuck off, really bright sign. What is all that about? He's got something to do with that, hasn't he?
What's the massive bright sign on Grimsby Road?
Oh, like it's ludicrous. Like almost, just before the left to go onto Freeman Street, it's like a big energy company. I'm sure he's got his hand in it.
Cool energy, James is saying.
Yeah. I mean, imagine living opposite that. Christ alive, it nearly took me eye out at bloody this time of night.
Yeah, but you are really tall, so it's kind of at eye level for you, isn't it?
Oh, that can't be legal.
If the movie comes off, Pleasure Island reopens under Spring management, that'd be good, and it's only devoted to big and tall people. Jack's favourite clothing brand is Duck and Cover.
Giacomo, mate. Giacomo.
I mean, is Jack auditioning for Top Gear driving round? He's giving us a tour of Grimsby. It's all legal, by the way. It's all handheld.
I'm trying to make myself tired. No, the opposite. Stay awake.
Nobody's saying lives on Cleethorpes Road. Okay, I don't know. I've never lived on Cleethorpes Road. There was a good question that came in earlier saying, first and Tom, what did you think of the floodlights? It's the first floodlights I've ever seen that have used a 5G mast to help. What were your overall impressions of the oldest ground that has been used continuously by one club?
Yeah, it was a nice little non-league ground. I enjoyed the T-bar, which looked like it was a prefab from the Second World War. And I also like the fact it was called the T-bar as well. I thought the pitch was good. Nice little stands. Yeah, it was nice ground, and it was right next to the station, really accessible. And then the main street into the town was just around the corner. So good away day.
It was a cracking away day.
I've been there before. I've watched Sutton United play there during their Conference South days. I only realised when they've got the Maidenhead, they got that stand that's like black and white stripes behind the goal.
Yeah.
It was only when someone put that on Twitter I realised I had indeed gone there, and can confirm the T-bar was a nice.
Oh. What happened there? You're on mute.
I did it. I removed it, and then I was talking on mute like a moron. I was trying to show everyone the image we had in the background, which is of that stand, and it didn't obviously show you it because I'm an idiot, and I removed everyone from the stream, which meant no one could talk.
I've been promoted on my screen. I've joined the top column.
Let's relegate him. I mean, we just wanted to put you on the lower tier, get used to it. Is there anything else anybody wants to mention? It doesn't feel I'm quite happy with stuff, and everything seems to be going on jolly well, and Hursty seems happy, and the coverage we're getting from the content is good. I don't like it. It's weird. I'm going back to great games. I'm going to be back on Tuesday, which I'm absolutely banging for. Do you know what? You go back to an away game and you proper get the bug again. I was proper like bouncing like Friday night going, I can't wait. And then I was getting stressed because I was, starting to worry. But absolutely brilliant. I've missed away days.
The club just feels very well run now, which is strange. It almost doesn't feel like Grimsby Town in the nicest way possible. And I love it. Do you feel what was that film with Brie Allison? Alison Brie, not Alison Brie. Was it Alison Brie? No. That film with Captain Marvel in, where she was in a room and then she got out of it and she was like seeing the world for the first time. Is that the same sort of emotions? It is. It just feels strange. Like you're right, just having a distinct lack of things to moan about, and I couldn't be happier with it. And I think Jason and Andrew and Debbie have all done a cracking job, and it just feels different in a beautiful way. But it's taken me a few weeks to adjust to it. Everything's working, and stuff Mike. Is good, and good.
Thanks, Mike. Mike reminded me that the film is called Room, because the only one I could think of was the terrible film called The Room that everybody watches in that Prince Charles Theatre in London.
We had the day after the Dewsbury premiere, The Room was on, and the geezer came over for it.
Yeah.
And,
he does that all the time. It's really weird.
Yeah, he's made a whole career. That film, I mean, has made its money back God knows how many times by being the shittest film ever. It's quite the remarkable journey.
Richard Young makes a very good comment saying the next 6 games are Bromley, Dover, Altrincham, Woking, Yeovil and Wealdstone. We've got a real good chance to set a marker down. It's really exciting. I mean, absolutely, we've come through a fair few really tough games. Not just we've talked about them already, but the idea that we've got some games where I guess they're ultimately winnable, and it'll be interesting to see what Paul Hurst does about it, because he's been talking about that. Are the players at the same level going into yesterday's game than they were against Stockport or Wrexham? Hopefully you'll get over that and it'll be good to go. Gentlemen, sorry, what we're going to say, man.
No, I think yesterday will serve as a nice, it's a nice, I don't know what the word is, not a reminder, but a nice, gentle kick that the small teams can cause us issues as well, without having been a disaster. We didn't lose, we didn't play great, we didn't G ourselves up potentially for, as you said, the same way as we might have done for Wrexham or whatever. And with them 6 teams coming up that aren't the fancied ones in the league, you'd hope that yesterday might have served as a little livener before a run in of teams that we'd be fancied to beat.
I hope it's going to go as well. It is. Stevens has come in and said, I'm sure Hurst will make changes for Tuesday, especially after the slight drop in energy levels yesterday. The advantage of having a really strong squad. And I think we do have a strong squad. I think we can put out a relatively strong second string or, make some notable changes. We haven't mentioned it, but obviously my heart goes out to Max Wright, who'd sort of got back in the team again and was creating goals and setting them up and putting them away. And he's off for a couple of weeks. And I think he could be a real dynamo this season. I was hoping that this was going to be the year. And it could still be, but heartbreaking for the guy. I hope all is well and he's going to be back out on the pitch really soon. And then James comes back and says, better to a wake-up call at 1-1 with a draw at Maidenhead than the 5-0 defeat at Braintree, which Hurst makes reference of quite a lot. It clearly hurts him.
It was. I was one of the unlucky few that went, and it was bad. It was the only town game I've ever been to, or any sporting event, where I've wanted to leave but deliberately stayed just so I could boo the players at the end. And I feel bad admitting that, but I wasn't the only one there doing that.
At 5-0 at Braintree, given our thought process at the time, you're completely forgiven. I sometimes say, just to say that I was there. This is I leave, at 2-0 down every now and then. But if we're 5-0 down, I'll stay because it shows I'm a true fan.
Yeah. It's Grimsby's lowest ever moment, you would hope, you would imagine. It must be the lowest point of our football club ever. We've lost to Chase Town, we've lost to some really crap teams over the last decade, but not by 5.
I was in the home end when we lost 8-1 to Hartlepool. I was with a friend. I don't think
I was born then.
It was a very, very painful day. James says, I can't leave early. It's too expensive. I want to get as close to value as money as possible. Proper northerner, I know. It's not true. I don't know. Is it value if you stay? If you stay to the end of a crap film, is it really value for money? I don't know. There we go. But I don't think has anyone got anything to add before we wrap it up?
It's a beautiful time to be alive.
It is. Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. You'll be able to why am I saying you'll be able to download it? You'll probably be listening to it if you downloaded it, but you can do. And we'll hopefully do something after the Bromley game because I don't think there's much coverage after the match. And I'll hopefully see some of you there. Thank you very much. See you all later. And I will do the little video thing. Bye.